Hello guys, today we have someone that influences the influencers. We have the founder of Social Tag, Anushri Jain with us. Raj Shamani, which is one of the biggest creators right now. So you started managing him. I'm pretty sure there were a lot of learnings that you must have gotten. How is he as a creator? If you could just tell us a little bit more about your journey with him. The idea of starting Social Tag and the idea of becoming a founder and starting the company, how did that hit you? Tell me a little bit about a mental health of a female founder. How does that go?
I hate the word female founder.
A content creator that has 1 million followers on.
18 to 20 lakh a month, it just goes up.
So your top 5 content creators, male or female, would be?
Top 5 creators that I consume from, I think,
What do you think about India's Got Latest? Hello guys, I'm Priyam and welcome to the Priyam Show, a show where you learn all things business and personal growth. Today we have someone that influences the influencers, running an influencer marketing company at the age of 25 and negotiating with multi-billion dollar brands. We have the founder of Social Tag, Anushri Jain with us. Hello Anushri, how are you today?
very overwhelmed with the sweet intro that you've just done for me. Thank you for having me on the show.
Much deserved and so excited to speak to you about influencer marketing and all things about social media.
Looking forward to it.
So, Anushri, let's talk a little bit about your personal journey. Everybody knows the work that Social Tag has been doing in the influencer space, but today we want to know a little bit about Anushri and her personal journey.
So, a little bit about my personal journey. I come from this very beautiful city called Imphal, which is in Manipur. Those who don't know, it's in the northeast
I don't
of
know
our
who
country.
are those people that don't know.
Dude, no, there's so many people when I say, oh, I'm from Imphal, they would not know where Imphal is. And this has happened to me multiple times. So every time
Yeah.
I'm just like, oh, it's in Manipur, it's in northeast of the country. So all of that, I give them full...
Missed out on
yeah.
geography lessons, clearly.
100%.
100%. Okay, go ahead. So,
So,
you're
yeah.
from Imphal, a
Yeah.
beautiful place. You moved to Bombay.
I moved to Bombay for my college. I studied BMS and did my majors in marketing.
I did BMS too, by the way.
Oh, yeah, which college?
Thakur College.
Oh.
Far less cooler than Mithibai. But yeah, that was what I had those days.
I think people will have like a comment section fight about Mithibai Thakur.
Yeah, and Mithibai wins, right? Because I'm team Mithibai too.
I don't know. For me, I think it was more about the city than the college. While I loved I don't know about studying in college, but like I think I really enjoyed the co-curricular activities that my
Yeah,
college
yeah.
had to provide, the festivals and all of
Yeah,
it.
yeah.
But college, I think, is overrated. What do you
Yeah,
think?
that absolutely. I was not in college, and I mean, when I say not in college,
Yeah.
I never actually had like attendance, and I was a bad student. Let's just end it there. That I was not a great student.
But did you all have like attendance issue? Because we had attendance issue.
Yeah. By the time we had reached college, everybody was aware that nobody was attending college. So
Oh,
they
wow.
had that key 70% attendance hona chahiye, otherwise you will not get to sit for your papers
Yeah.
and stuff like that. Anyway, sailed through, passed, didn't fail. So I think that's all that matters.
Dude, so we had 6 semesters, right? All 6 semesters I was in blacklist. First 5 I made it through. I'm like, okay, thoda bahut ho gaya, whatever. Teachers would just like let me go.
Yeah.
6th semester, which was your final semester, they actually made me like repeat for a year because of my attendance. And every time, I think if somebody from Mithibai is watching it, they would know, most times it's 50 and above you're allowed to give paper. 50% of your attendance
Yeah,
and
yeah.
above you're allowed to give your papers. In our 6th semester, they made a rule that anybody who's below 60
Cannot
we
give the
won't-
papers.
Yeah, they won't let them give the paper. So that happened. But it was 2020, not just me, the entire world got debarred, so it didn't really affect me. But yeah, that happened in college.
I mean, coming from 2 founders, getting debarred and not having attendance is not that bad. You can still do something in your life. Okay, coming back. So you were in the coolest college in Bombay, Mithibai, right?
is Mithibai cool? I
I
have
think
my
so.
doubts.
Back in the day, Mithibai was damn cool. How did you then enter? Like, how did the marketing space happen for you? Because I mean, Mithibai, you were doing business. Did you specialize when you did BMS? Did you
Yeah,
specialize in
yeah,
marketing or
yeah.
finance?
I specialized in marketing. I think
Okay.
numbers were not my thing back in
Yeah,
college. And I was
yeah.
like, okay, marketing is fascinating. You're building narratives, you're telling cool stories to the world, making them buy a product, making them derive to a decision. I think that sounded really cool to me back in college. Again, I don't know if like studies taught me a lot, like, or if these books taught me, not books, I think whatever because I think Indian education system is just
Off.
yeah, like I don't things that they should have made us learn, they didn't. Like, you know,
Yeah.
after running a company, I'm sure you would relate to it.
Hard
Filing
relate.
taxes, understanding your GSTs and all these, everything is just so difficult. Nobody taught us this in our school. It would
Yeah.
have been nicer for them to teach this instead of telling us 10,000 different things which
Nobody
don't
teaches
really.
people to be nice also in school. Let's begin there.
100%.
Let's begin there. Anyway,
Yeah.
so you fumbled upon marketing and
Yeah.
you found your keen interest in that.
Yeah.
Then how did social tag transition happen? Like you were in, I'm assuming you're in college and you're liking marketing at this point.
Yeah, I think I did like college festival, was the marketing head there.
What was it called? Malhar or something?
No, no, no. Malhar is, I think, Xavier's
Ah,
or
okay,
some other
okay.
college. For us, we did Colosseum.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
Okay.
I was the marketing head there. That's when I learned how to write my first email, sent it to brands. That's how I
Okay.
started. You know, okay, this is how brand communication
Works,
work. That's
right.
that's how it began.
Okay.
And yeah, so college got over. COVID had hit. I was bored at home. I'd gone back to my parents' house. Was figuring what to do, trying to read things, me try to understand what's happening in the world. And that's when I saw the opportunity wherein a lot of people had just started creating content. It fascinated me a lot. Probably I was not very camera, I'm still very camera conscious. So I'm like, okay, I can't create
And why?
content.
Why?
Yeah, like I can't create content, but how do I be part of this economy? Because this is exciting, this is very new, not a lot of people know about it. And I did see patterns, right? Like how TV was a thing probably 10-15 years ago, and now it had become your phones. People were watching YouTube content, people Instagram and had just launched
Yeah.
Reels as a feature.
Yeah.
So pattern
When
consumption.
TikTok had gotten banned.
Yeah,
Yeah.
this is 2020, 2021.
Yeah, yeah.
That-
right
that-
when
yeah.
TikTok got banned in India, Instagram,
Instagram,
released
yeah.
Reels, and right when Instagram Reels were hit, YouTube released Shorts, and
Yeah.
and we are now waiting for
It's
something
again
else.
noticing the pattern, right?
Yeah,
All
yeah.
these were back to back things back to back happening, and then I was like, okay, this is fun. How
Makes
do you?
sense.
Because nobody knows this, and this economy may boom. How
Yeah.
do you make the most out of it? Try to
Right.
understand the business.
Right.
So was very curious from the start and wanted to know what could happen in this space. Started working with one creator. That's the first creator I started managing.
Yeah.
From there, the journey was one thing led to another thing. Right place, right time happened multiple times,
Yeah.
and yeah, we are here today.
So the creator that you are basically talking about being very very modest is Raj Shamani, which is one of the biggest creators right now.
Yeah.
So you started managing him. I'm pretty sure there were a lot of learnings that you must have gotten. What was the work? I mean, not without releasing much details. What was the work that you were doing for him? How is he as a creator? If you could just tell us a little bit more about your journey with him.
I think it was my first job ever. I was 21. I'd gone with the mindset to learn everything possible. So I tried my hands on content writing, learned hiring, on how to hire more people. I was his first employee to begin with. It was more like an internship period, so you get to do too many things. So it's fun. I understood that negotiating, talking to the brands, and like closing deals was more my
More your
game
thing,
because I
yeah.
enjoyed that. But I also liked the part where I was writing, managing the team, understanding, posting contents from social media to handling production at times. So did all of it to realize, oh, this is one thing I'm good at, and this is one thing I enjoy doing, which was more brand communication collaboration.
So you basically working with him, you got the clarity of what you like,
Yeah.
what are your strengths, and
Yeah.
what are your weaknesses.
Yeah.
And obviously you, drove social tag out of your strengths,
Yeah.
right? So Anushri, COVID happened, and then you got the opportunity to work with Raj. So you were managing him for a while.
Yeah.
And after COVID, you moved to Bombay to work with Raj. Very lucky. Not many people find that great of an opportunity. And tell me a little bit about. You spoke to me about what you learned working with him. Tell me a little bit about how did networking with Raj and that community kind of help you start Social Tag?
I think with Raj also, I just reached out to him on Instagram. It was not like I knew him already or something like that. And to most creators, of course, once you start doing a little bit of work, good work, people start introducing you to other people, start recommending you to other people. That began with, but again, networking, when you say, the term networking is very transactional. The moment you start saying, oh, how did you network? I think it's just a very transactional relationship that you're just like, oh, I wanna get probably work done with you. And the other person will also say,
Say you worked with Raj, and then how did you end up finding more work?
uh, I think Raj was also like very sweet to introduce me to a
Oh.
bunch of his friends because I was handling his brand collaborations. He would just
Right.
go be like, "Oh, she's doing this for me. She could help you." So first few probably creators I found through him, and then brands. We started reaching out to more brands, and they'd asked me to find creators for their collaborations. So
Right.
then you go look for creators who are in that space, in that niche that would work for the brand.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
reaching out to creators is not a very
Not
difficult
that difficult, of
thing,
course.
right?
Yeah.
So it just kept on happening, and my intention was always to help people first, and then you just like you've become friends with them, and then you start working with them. So on those lines.
Right. So Anushri, how did you end up bagging a job with Raj Shamani, which is your first job?
Yeah. Uh, so again, very curious as a kid. I used to really enjoy the content that he would make, and back in those days, people who follow him would remember.
Yeah.
He would do three things about business, three curious reels that he would
Yeah.
do. I'd sent him an Instagram DM and one, two DM, whatever, just like engaging with his content. And there was one spelling error, whatever, I corrected. Then I'm like, oh, you could do this. Uh, Expressed my thought, hey, that really is like the work that you do, would love to work with you someday. The conversation ended there. After 4 5 months, he had reached out saying he's looking for a manager, and if I can send my resume. But he's also smart. He didn't ask me for like a normal resume. He wanted to see if somebody can put in efforts. He asked for a video resume, somebody who's like me, who's camera conscious, doesn't not like a little awkward in front of the camera. I was like, okay, how am I gonna do it? But I spent like one full day, figured out a video resume, sent it to him. Again, I think 1 2 months, no reply, whatever. December 2020 is when he asked me, oh, are you okay moving to Bombay? We have like one opening. I was his uh,
Higher.
first hire in the content space.
Right, right.
So I was like, oh, very excited, whatever, because I was also at home, not really doing anything post COVID, just trying to figure out
Yeah.
my life. I was supposed to go for my master's, but it still had 6 months. So I had 6 month time frame with me. I could learn, understand more about the space, and I chose to go for it. And after then, it's just a story.
So anyone that feels that it's absolutely impossible to bag your first job as a fresher with a bigger creator or a bigger creating company, it's not that impossible.
It's not that impossible. You have probably I was lucky that I got in one or two chances, but
Yeah.
I'm sure like till date, even when we hire at Social Tech, anybody who's extremely creative, who's reaching out to me on my LinkedIn or Instagram or on our company's Instagram page, we reply. You can't be boring with your email. You can't just be like, hey, I need a job. You
That's
need
true.
to put in the meat. You need to have that something special about you that
Yeah.
any founder, anybody who's hiring would reply to you.
Right, right.
Yeah.
So basically, the desperation and the curiosity to kind of reach there kind of helps you. Would you say that?
I think willingness to be, a lot of times people also say, oh, why should I reach out?
Yeah.
I don't want to reach out, right? I think you
Okay,
can't
so are
have.
they gonna come to you and be
Nobody's
like,
gonna come to you,
Yeah.
right? So that willingness and that openness to be able to, sure, I'll reach out to 100 people. कोई ना कोई तो reply करेगा ही.
reminds me of this very cool creator called Ankita Chawla, if I'm not wrong.
Hustle Rani.
Right,
Yeah.
right. She's the girl on skates, right?
Yeah,
I just randomly, I mean, she got really popular in the start because she had a very unique way of applying to a company
Yeah,
that she was working with.
I think she got famous because she made an Instagram
She-
profile of her resume.
And I was
Yeah.
like, that's so crazy. No,
Yeah.
no wonder that. Sorry, no wonder that if somebody does something like that for
Yeah.
the company, the founder is gonna be like, okay, fine,
Yeah.
let's look into this person for sure.
I think you have to be curious, you have to be creative.
Yeah.
Why do you want to work with the company? Why, you are the right fit? If you don't give that, there are 1,000 people looking for jobs. How are you special if you
Absolutely.
really want to work at a place?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
So Nushi, this just brings me to a question. When you already learned everything, and when you could easily just freelance and live your life and travel and you just have fun with your life, and you're 25 and you could do anything you want just being a freelancer. The idea of starting Social Tag and the idea of becoming a founder and starting the company, how did that hit you?
I think this was when I was 22 when I started Social. Like it's
Oh,
been
that's
3
crazy.
years now. So, I don't know, yeah. Like I think probably growing up, I'd seen my father, had his own business. Same thing with my grandfather. So I think it was also stem like since childhood. But
Yeah.
I always knew I want to do something of my own. I just didn't know what to
What
do.
exactly?
It happened for me. That's how I said it, right? Like it just
Yeah.
happened for me. But I knew for a fact that I wanted to build something of my own.
Right, right.
Yeah.
So, Anushri, at Social Tag, the kind of transactions that you're dealing with, the kind of brands that you're dealing with, one of the top brands, Imami, you just told me that you're working with Imami right now, and you also deal with the top segment of content creators in India. Tell me a little bit about how is Anushri's daily life? Is it filled with like the daily founder drama and the daily tantrums of influencers? A little bit about how does Social Tag function and what is your role to play at Social Tag?
I think every founder's life is firefighting, right?
Yeah.
You would relate to it,
Yeah.
right? From the outside, it may look all glitz glamorous. Oh, you
Yeah.
have a company of this, but the nitty gritties of it, the day to day challenges that you face are going to be there. You can't really take away all of that. I think after 3 years, probably I can be in a situation where I can say we have built like really solid systems and processes. The team is really strong. The team at Social Tag does some incredible
Yeah.
work. So that has happened again. To begin with, there was a lot of chaos. There was a
Yeah.
lot of understanding, a lot of failures, a lot of mistakes that we made because you don't know how to build a company. Nobody
Yeah.
teaches you how to do that. With overtime, of course,
You learn.
learn everything. You learn how to hire better, you learn how to fire right, because
Yeah,
it's
yeah.
not just hiring, it's also about letting people go who are not who are not
Contributing to the
fitting
company,
to
yeah.
the culture, not fitting to the company. So all of that came through experience by
Yeah.
doing everything while you're trying to build the company. Right now my day to day life looks a little more structured in terms of we have right teams, we have right people. I've also learned how to I've started focusing a lot on my health. Probably in the initial days I would not care about my health as much, and now it's more stable, structured in that way.
Tell me a little bit about mental health of a female founder. How does that go?
I hate the word female founder. As much as I want to have more girls around me doing
Yeah.
some crazy badass shit, but I also feel the word female founder is not supposed to be there.
It isn't
Yeah,
supposed to be
yeah.
there, but I particularly use it just because. I mean, honestly, I don't have a huge ass reason for it, but the only thing that makes me again and again kind of dissect into female founder a little bit is because the kind of lifestyle and the kind of issues and the kind of changes and the kind of just cultural shocks, hits, and everything that
Yeah.
happens. I mean, when I just to give you an example, when I began, this is early days, right? Early days. I don't have any of the employees of that time working with me today.
Yeah.
Okay, we would just pick up bags. I mean, when I'm saying bags, these are trolley bags, the biggest size trolley bags.
Yeah.
We would fill in our samples. When I say we, it's me. Okay, me and my auto guy. So I would fill in the samples in the bag, and I would go to pet shops, or I would just go to shops ki like I have these products, and I have stuff better than what you have, and I would be encountering men that are 40-year-old, 50-year-old. They don't have the idea कि कोई लड़की आई है. They are not okay with that. Sometimes obviously it's a little beneficial. You get some perks. आपको पानी पूछ देंगे and all of that. But hindsight, you will never actually be able to get work. I mean, it takes time. You have to be persistent, but it's a slightly a longer journey. When you've been judged by your gender, you enter a meeting and you've been first judgment is girl. Okay. So, things start degrading from you right there. You won't believe I have had investor meetings that I have joined the Google Meet. They have gotten cancelled because my brother's not there in the meeting. The investors told me ki we need your brother to talk about this further. And I was just like, I have all the answers. At least ask me. At least give me the chance to open my, just because I am a girl. Just because and my brother's no older. Like I'm
Yeah.
28, he's 29.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so it's not about seniority. It's just about gender a lot of times. And I this is something that I told my brother. I was like, I need you in these meetings because they don't take me seriously. You know what I mean? He also did not have that concept.
Yeah.
But I told him, I went ahead and I was like, dude, I need you in these meetings because they are not ready to listen. They are not ready to understand. And so when I say female founders, our judgment starts with our gender first. How we look, how we dress, what we wear, what's our age, then how you do business.
Yeah.
The एंड इफ यू आर अ गाय, तुम कैसे दिख रहे हो, क्या कर रहे हो, क्या पहने हो, किधर आए हो, उससे कोई फर्क नहीं पड़ रहा है. एज लॉन्ग एज यू आर coming in with the product, you're able to sell it, the man is happy, he's sold you the product, you are gone home, you've paid him, that's it.
Yeah.
But with women it's a round of कि कौन से कंपनी, अच्छा किधर से, अच्छा क्या एज है, पहले किया है कि नहीं किया है, ये क्या है, तुमको पता है जीएसटी क्या है, पता है टैक्स इसमें कितना होता है, पता है डिस्काउंटिंग, पता है मार्जिन पता है. I was like, मैं बैग लेके आई हूँ तो मुझे पता है ना.
But I've also heard like a lot of stories when you spoke about investors. Bunch of my friends wanted to like raise funds. Investors would ask questions like, "Are you planning to get married?
Yeah.
When do you wanna have kids?" Like,
Yeah.
how is that? You know, like
Because
it's work that you're.
that's true,
yeah.
but I mean a lot of cases of founders splitting, it's a fact. Founders running company together, it's very difficult. I'll give you a very funny
Founders or
stat.
couples running company together.
Just two founders,
Okay.
okay, running a company together. I'll give you a stat. I read this somewhere about 70% of founders in the USA are friends, and vice versa in India, about 9% of founders are friends. Okay, so we don't really have that mentality of we'll grow together. We have that mentality of are you trying to take something away from me? You know what I mean? So in India, founders splitting up is really, really like a big thing. So I'm not really complacent on the investors' point of view, because it's a fact. Founders split up. You wouldn't believe, I have been asked a question saying that you are working with your brother. When you get married, are you still going to come to the office and work? And I was like, I don't know what to say to that. But I mean, again, like, there are really good people and
Yeah.
understanding people, but there is also a small segment of people that are trying to pull everybody down. So, I mean, pros and cons everywhere, right? So,
Yeah.
not saying all are bad, but there's definitely some judgment when it comes to being a female founder. I'm sure you must have gone through it, and a lot of times we go through it and we don't even know we are going through it.
Yeah.
What is the kind of talent that you're looking at currently when you look at the influencer space?
So talent in terms of people that we have at social, like content creators.
Content
talent.
creators.
Yeah, I think while we look at content creators we want to manage, first thing that we see is consistency. How
Right.
consistent the
Very important.
creator is, right? Like if you want to as a business, if I'm looking at, if you want to manage a creator, if you want to get money to the creator, if the creator is not consistent enough, if the creator doesn't have long term goal to be creating
Creator.
content, we don't want to touch the creator. We want
Okay.
people who are as hungry as us, and we want people whose vision we can match, but you can't
Right.
match somebody's vision when they're not creating enough content.
Right.
So yeah, like basic things, you have to be consistent enough. You should love your craft. If
Yeah.
you're a storyteller, you should know the craft of storytelling really well. It should be,
Yeah.
you know, how passionate you're about what you do.
Do.
So first would be consistency. Second would be how passionate you're about your content. Could be any sort of content, any
Yeah.
format.
Yeah.
Podcaster, somebody who wants to do business case studies, somebody
Hmm.
who wants to talk about anything, right? How passionate are you about it? How well can you engage your audience?
Right. That's
Uh,
very important
yeah.
at this point. Engagement is like the key word.
Yeah. If you you may create like thousands of videos, but if you're not interesting, engaging enough for your audience, either you're entertaining your audience, either you're making them learn
Something new, yeah.
So either you're adding value, either you're entertaining. These are the two major criteria that somebody would come watch your content for.
Absolutely.
So how that format goes for you? So yeah, basic things that we look at: consistency, how engaging the content is,
Yeah.
and how passionate the creator is about the craft that they're
So,
creating.
say for somebody who's super new and wants to get into content creation
Yeah.
and eventually wants to get associated for work with, companies like you, right?
Yeah.
Tell us in like a small framework of say 4 or 5 points. If I want to be a content creator today, that i.e. 2024,
Yeah.
what do I do? What are the 4 key points that I should keep in mind?
You should collaborate with 3-4 brands first yourself
Yeah.
to understand how the entire
Creation
concept work, how brands ask you for things. Just like have that hang of it, and then get managed by an agency, right? Like if you started getting managed by an agency from day one, you would not understand the business
The
side
nitty-gritty of the
Yeah.
transaction.
So
right.
first I think you should do it by yourself, get a hang of it. Then once you grow bigger, once you understand what your vision is, then you need to get somebody who's equally passionate with your vision and aligns with the same.
Right, but if say I want to be a content creator today,
Yeah.
and if I
You already are one.
so I mean apart from me, so say if I want to be a content creator today, and you are in the right space to tell me what are the 4 key things. So even 4 points, if you can tell me that this is what I have to keep in mind
Yeah.
to be at the top of my game, maybe a year later.
Be consistent, understand the algorithm, see what's working for you, what's not working for you. Focus on building IPs. Uh, Everyone's creating content. If you're not building an IP, how are you differentiating yourself with other creators, right? So focus on building IPs. Fourth point would be have your own niche.
Right.
You can't be doing everything, because when you do everything, especially if you want to monetize, if you're doing everything, when a brand comes to you and sees your page and they see you all over the place, they don't know what you stand for.
Right.
So
right.
have something that you stand for. If it's comedy, stand for it. If it's adding value, stand for it. So you need to define your niche really well.
Absolutely. So anybody that's watching, that's looking out to be a content creator, and I mean you're slightly late in the race, but still, if you if you still want to do it, these are the 4 points to keep in mind. So Anushi, I mean, the other side of your work is talking and negotiating with brands. You
Yeah.
have several brands that are coming to you and giving you some or the other kind of brief. Either it's a product launch, or they're trying to revamp, or it's a new packaging. XYZ, right? How does the brand side communication look for a person like you?
So brands out of communication again depends on what stage. If you're helping
Yeah.
them strategize an IP, if you're
Right.
helping them scouting the right creators, if you're helping them with their brand story on what creators are going to talk about. So
Yeah.
different, like totally depends on the
Yeah.
objective of the brand. But on the
Absolutely.
brand side, what we suggest brand or tell brand that don't throw what you want to say to these creators. Let them marry your product with their content. They
Absolutely.
understand their content the best. You can't go teach them how to create content. That's their job. They're
Yeah.
already doing it. And
Yeah.
since they're really good with it, that's why you want to
Them
go
to do
work
it.
with them, right?
Right,
So don't throw shades on content creators saying मुझे तो ये 4 line चाहिए ही चाहिए, because that's not gonna work out for you.
Yeah.
They'll do it because they're getting paid for it.
Yeah.
But does that mean it's gonna help your brand? Not really.
Right.
So I think forcefully fitting the product
Yeah.
does not work for a brand. You need to find a sweet spot where you're marrying the product to the content.
Right.
Have it so organically placed that the audience enjoys watching that content and remembers your brand.
Right.
So that's one key thing that I we suggest most brands that we work with.
When brands come to social tag, are they aware of what they want, or do you help them in strategizing what they exactly want at the marketing front of it?
See, I think they should have like a clear brief. Of course, we come on as strategic partners, help them figure out the strategy on how they should go ahead
about
with
it, yeah.
things. But some basics they should know, because
Yeah.
unless and until you don't know the basics, an
Yeah.
agency can come on board, tell you 10 different things. But if you don't really know what you want,
Yeah.
you can't really be satisfied with what you're getting. So
Absolutely.
having a right ask or having the right brief is equally important,
important.
for the brand. You can't just go tell मुझे ये चाहिए, वो नहीं मिलेगा आपको. पहले
Yeah.
आपको पता होना पड़ेगा आप क्या, like what's your objective, what do you really want.
Absolutely, absolutely. Again, you mentioned in our previous conversation that IP is something that's very, very important.
Yeah.
People are making content, everyone's making vlogs, everyone's making all types of hello, hi, good morning, guys. But I mean, IP is something that's really, really missing, not just from the creator standpoint, but also from the brand standpoint.
Yeah.
Because I mean, the IP of the brand is the brand name and the brand page, right? But when we are talking about IP in terms of marketing, doing something very, very special that stands out,
Yeah.
I would like to I mean, shout out to this company called Fruit Bowl Media. I worked with them some years ago. They did a fantastic campaign called Rang De. It was an Asian Paints campaign, and the Mumbai area of the Koliwara area, if I'm not wrong, the Worli area that you see from ceiling. They painted all the houses, all the huts, and the smaller houses in like different, very unique, very attractive colors. So that was a marketing campaign that always stuck to me. And you could see their marketing campaign on the map of Bombay. I mean, you could see it, from wide away. You could see that whole locality is just lit up like it's Diwali. It's just because it's an Asian Paints campaign and they are just trying to put in colors in everybody's houses, right? So that, I mean, that was a, again, I'm not sure if you can call that IP, but that was a great marketing strategy, and I think they did it years ago, and till today that paint lasts and the houses look like that, right? So tell me a little bit more about IPs and how brands and content creators can learn on making their own strong IP.
I think I'll just give you example. One recent IP that's been extremely doing well. If you know Samay Raina's India's Got Latent, that's an
Oh
IP.
my god, yeah.
It's doing insanely well. Like, which video gets 20 million views
Oh my god.
consistently?
Yeah.
I
All
think-
of it. All of
Yeah, I think all the videos have reached above millions. Like, all the videos have million plus views. He's also opened, like a revenue stream in terms of members only content. So now people who really want to go check the content out, they would pay him for the membership. So that's the kind of IP creators should figure out and, like, try to build. You're building an IP. The Priyam show is an IP for you, right?
That's true,
So
that's true. A side note, what do you think about India's Got Latent?
what do I think about India's Got Latent? I think he's producing the content for masses and it's working out really well for him.
It's working out great. I
Yeah,
mean,
because
I have.
masses want that piece of content.
Yeah. And comedy is now, I think, scrutinized so heavily that, everything's been taken from a standpoint of, okay, cultural damage, okay, he's talking about depression, okay, he's talking about. But,
It's
light.
dark humor, it's
Yeah.
dark content, and people do enjoy watching that content. So
Yeah.
if you're blaming somebody for making that content, you also blame people for watching that
Watching
content.
that content. Of course. I mean, there are so many takers of that content. There's no going back from India's Got Latent. I think that's here to stay. So, Anushri, 3 years into social tag, I'm sure you have seen some crazy controversies about brands not being happy with creators and creators not being happy with brands, vice versa. Tell me a little bit more about what happens in the space where things don't go right.
Yeah, I think first of all, brands and creators need to understand that they both need to coexist and they go hand in hand. It's not brand against the creator or creator against the brand, right? Both of you all need to work together to get some well shot content that you can use to market the product. And of course, creators are creating content to somewhere monetize it, which brands pay for. So
Absolutely.
it's never against each other, it's for each other at the end of the day. Yeah, things can go wrong when expectations are not aligned.
That's true.
Any relationship, not just like a creator and a brand relationship, but any relationship, I think your expectations needs to be aligned so well that you know what you're getting into. Of course, there are multiple cases where brands have not paid creators the money. There are multiple places where creators promote betting apps. A very basic example, all these betting app companies, creators would promote them because they're getting money out of it,
Yeah.
but they're probably not using the app, and because they are promoting something, masses
Are using it.
are using it and losing money right, left, and center, which is not ethically right.
Right.
So there are going to be cases. I think now it's on the audience who needs to be smarter and understand if it's paid, if it's not paid, if the product that they're suggesting, do you think the creator is using that product? So again, it all boils. You can't really do anything about it.
That's true.
You just have to, if you're an ethical creator, if you really want well for your audience, you would promote products that you really use.
So, do you think content creators should only endorse something that they really actually like or use?
Subjective, right? Because do you think Aishwarya Rai would use Lux?
Absolutely not.
So are you expecting the same thing with a beauty content creator who's at a 10 million for her to use a basic product? No, probably she's not using it, but the 10 million people who are watching her would want to use that product. So you can't really blame them, but I do feel that there should be a set criteria that creators should also look at when they promoted a product. If it's harmful in any way, please don't promote it. Please use the product and really give honest opinion, which I think is
I
somewhere
mean, being
missing.
honest is something that, takes a toll right
Yeah.
now, because, I mean, it's completely okay to go ahead and tell that, okay, X is the brand I'm using, please go ahead and use it, even if you're not using it. But, right now what happens is, oh, I used this product, it was so good, it cleared all my acne and pimple, and, it's fabulous. I've been going to the doctor for ages and nothing's worked out. Cut to, you sell a 250 rupees cream to like thousands of people, and then you're making your money. But really, what did you really just do? So I'm not talking about the fact that, okay, don't promote it. If you have the audience, go for it. But I mean, mindfulness is slightly important, just slightly putting that maybe this is not for my skin type, but it's great for other people that use it.
Yeah,
Maybe if you have a normal skin type, this can do really well for you, and it's really really affordable. I mean, talking about the real USP of the product rather than inculcating it in your, because content creators are paid to personalize so much, like you said, that I can vlog about a face wash the whole day, that 3 times I use the face wash and now my skin is bright and clear. I feel the honesty part of it and the authenticity part of it is slightly to be questioned. But apart from that, I think if it'll be very stupid to ask somebody to not fill their pockets, to be honest, right? Because if somebody is getting paid to do something, it's really stupid to think that they would not want to do it for that amount of money.
Yeah.
So debatable. Let's leave it at that.
Yeah.
Okay, so now Anushri, influencers have a tier. I mean, not all people know, but we probably know because we're working in this industry since a while. So mini, micro, and top influencers. Tell me a little bit more about how much do these influencers earn, and how can one go from tier one to tier two to tier three?
I think like you can talk about how cat A, cat B, cat C influencers are there. A lot of it depends on the number of followers that you have. So if you wanna go from a micro to mega, whatever level of creator, you need to probably work on the numbers.
Numbers of followers.
Yeah. So the question is, how much are they paid?
Yeah, probably say if I have about 5 or 10,000 followers, how much do I get paid in terms of a collab? If I have 500K, how much? And 1 million, how much?
See, it heavily depends on what kind of content are you creating. If you're creating beauty type content, like beauty lifestyle
yeah.
content for a UGC piece, when you're 5K to 10K, it's more like UGC
Yeah.
content that you're creating. So you can make 30 to 40K a month if you're doing
Multiple
brands and collabs.
Yeah.
So that's where you can start with. If you're at 500K, you can easily make 4-5 lakh
A
a
month.
month.
Yeah.
So that's easy money if you're in the right space doing the
Right thing.
things. And you need to be known to these brand managers, marketing managers, agency folks who will take your names in the right room.
Yeah.
There are a lot of creators who probably are creating content, but are not being spoken about in the right rooms.
Right.
And probably that's why they're not making money.
Right. So see, Anushri, if you have like 1 million followers, how much does a content creator that has 1 million followers earn?
Again, which niche? I'll probably give you 2-3 examples. If
Yeah.
you have 1 million followers, if you're in the beauty space, you can easily make 15ish lakh a
Whoa.
month, probably more.
Whoa.
If you're in the infotainment space, fintech, edtech, whatever, again about 18 to 20 lakh a month. It just goes up.
With the
words.
numbers.
With the numbers, with the kind of audience, like premiumness is in your audience. If you
Yeah.
have the audience which has the paying capacity, if you're serving top tiers of the country, you'll probably make more money. It depends on the quality of the audience, the engagement that you have.
But all in all, it's a great space to be in, right? If you want to make money, this is a legitimate space.
100%, but not every creator also makes money.
That's true,
That
that's
you
true.
need to know and understand.
Yeah, absolutely. Let's talk a little bit about consumption of content. So, consumption of content has moved entirely from our TVs to our phones now. I do not watch cable TV anymore. It's been years. Even my parents.
Who does it anymore?
Yeah. Even my parents, I think we've not had proper cable connection for years now. So, I mean, content has completely changed. Again, from theaters, we've moved to OTT. From TV, we've moved to phones.
Yeah.
Since such a large piece of audience has shifted the way they consume content, a large influx of content creators has also been there, right? Now, we just want to understand how legitimate is content creation as a business, or as, say, I personally today, if I want to if I want to start an influencer company, or let's just say I want to be an influencer. Do you think it's a legitimate area to make money in?
100%.
And if I start today, how much time does it take for me to monetize?
See, I think monetization monetization is a game of numbers. If you have numbers, you'll make money as content creators again, and your name's been taken in the right rooms. So these two things 100%, but it is 100% a legitimate career. You just need to know your craft. Not everyone can create content, and not everyone should create content. I would also say that, because it's not an easy job. You may feel like, oh, क्या वीडियो ही तो बना रहा है, कैमरा में आके 2 लाइन बोल दिया, इतने पैसे कमाना. A lot of creators do get this hate. I have friends who have gone out on holidays, trips, and their life may look so glamorous, but they're creating content there. You may see him or her taking the fanciest trip, but you're not seeing that they're showing you every bits and parts of that trip that you are watching. You're so invested in.
Yeah.
They're making money out of it, but it's work for them.
That's true.
It may look cool, it may look fun, it probably is fun, but it's also work.
That's absolutely true. And what do you feel about the new style of content that's been flushing in? And I'm probably the newest one, podcast. We have ample of podcasts. Again, I am one of the fishes in the sea right now. But yeah, we have. Is podcast the new thing? What do you think?
The podcast has been in the space since past 3, 4, 5, whatever years.
Yeah,
So like, it's
yeah.
not the new thing for sure. What's new about these podcasts is, I think it's really building the narrative. It's really
Yeah.
bringing out the right stories from different people, right?
Yeah.
Earlier, you would watch, if you want to watch like a smart founder or like a great interview, you would go to a CNBC and like all
Absolutely.
these news channels.
Yeah.
Now you don't know if those are authentic content being served.
Absolutely.
Those media houses are probably bought by some bigger business giants fulfilling their needs. With content creators, there's a lot of truth and honesty coming out with right interviews, right
Yeah,
people, right
yeah.
conversations that India would want to know.
Yeah.
So I think a lot it's changing in terms of how media has changed, and I
Yeah.
love how now media has become so democratized, with normal people like you and me talking our
Talking about
hearts
stuff,
out
yeah.
in front of the camera. Earlier it was just with the TV or the bigger creators or bigger people.
Yeah. Reminds me of a creator, The Think School.
Yeah.
I mean, crazy case studies,
Yeah.
right? Who would have thought that just talking about case studies, and he speaks about case studies and situations and propagandas like it's an actual, like a serial,
Yeah.
dramatic serial that's going on, and gives full in-depth information completely. And I mean, fair to say that one of the best
Yeah.
in our country today in
Yeah.
terms of just education type of
Yeah.
channels.
He's a very good friend. We also do some work with him. I think he's changing how Indian education
Absolutely.
system. I know a lot of IIMs, IITs playing his video in their classes because it's so informative that the
Yeah.
professor's like, okay, you just need to watch one Think School video. You'll probably learn way more
Absolutely.
than what I'm gonna teach you, right? So I think he's changing Indian education system more than anything, getting right people on his podcast. He's just started his podcast.
Yeah.
Doing the right case studies, teaching people the right thing, which schools or colleges are not teaching, and all of that for free.
Yeah.
Everyone
absolutely
who's
free.
watching that YouTube content, you're gaining so much knowledge for free.
And I've been following him since a while. I think I've been following him since the time there was nothing paid, or I mean, like, he was just doing it probably for the sake of it. But today, the production quality, the scripting, the work, the editing, it's just fab. He's just leveling up, and it's great because you're not talking about something fancy and something this and that. You're actually picking up things from either history, or you're talking about current business propagandas and current politics, which is always politics is not a very easy topic to touch base on, at this point in time. But yeah, I mean, kudos to creators like this who
Yeah.
are building different IPs that are here to last and that are here to stay, right?
Yeah.
Anushri, how do influencer marketing companies and any basically media company make money? This is a very, very important, because I mean, influencer marketing company is a mediator between the brand and the influencer, right? So we want to understand, how does the whole transaction for the influencer and for the company look like?
See, when you're again, the space has wider terms. So
Yeah.
when you're saying you're doing talent management, which is trying to help get business for the creators that you're exclusively managing,
Right.
then you charge your creator a certain percentage agency fee, which you and the creator may decide, which
Agree on.
varies from 15 to 25%.
Right.
So that's one part of the business. The second part of the business is influencer marketing, where you're helping brands find, scout, right sort of creators. That's when you charge the brand for providing that service. So these are two commission models or retainer models that brands can keep you at. That every month I need 10 influencers. We figure out a retainer model, and you get us the influencers, or whatever is the total spend. A certain percentage of that would be charged as an agency fee.
Got it. So anybody that's wondering how do influencers make money and how do brands pay influencers, this is how you actually do it. So your top 5 content creators, male or female, would be?
Top 5 creators that I consume from, I think the list would top with Nikhil Kamath. I love watching
I
WTF podcast.
absolutely love and adore him.
So that. Second would be Think School is a great friend. We also work with him, but I think his content is so, like you get to learn so much from the
Yeah.
content.
It's like a history book, right?
Yeah. Third, not history book, but everything.
Yeah.
Third creator, I think I really binge watch my friend Apurva, the Rebel Kids content. So that would be third.
She's absolutely great at storytelling, I think.
The most amazing storytelling skills you can find in a content creator, I think that's her.
Yeah.
Fourth, who else do I watch? I really also like watching Raj's podcast. So fourth would be Raj. So let me think. Fifth content creator that I enjoy watching. Hasil Rani's content also I think really fun. Like I really
Fair.
find her very creative.
Very aesthetic as well,
very
right?
aesthetic and creative. So
Yeah.
probably her.
And she also, I think, edits her own content because she's
Yeah.
like a designer editor or whatever. So it brings out like that personal
It's
design
not like
element.
very big, but like I think she has that content.
Oh,
flair.
absolutely,
Yeah.
absolutely. She was also one of the first people we kind of sent freebies to for because she had a cute pet. So
Cute.
next, top 3 overrated influencers.
I think anybody who's creating content and is consistently creating content, they can't be overrated.
Wow. Coming from somebody that can say no bad to influencers. Okay. So your top 3 underrated influencers.
Underrated influencer. Ansh Mehra, I think he creates content. We also manage him. He is a creator who has most attention to detail. He would care about the smallest of the thing, the background of the video, the font, difference between different fonts, and how just make the user experience so nice
good.
for the audience to watch the content.
Yeah.
Extremely diligent as a creator. He is one of the most underrated creators. The kind of content he makes, it's gold.
Wow.
If anybody who's not seen his content, they should just go and subscribe
Instagram
to
right now.
Ansh Mehra, Cutting Edge School. So that. Another creator would be Digvijay. He is again a very close friend and does make some great healthy food recipe for.
I think I've seen some pieces. Yeah.
And Digvijay would be the second creator. Third creator, there's this content creator does content on fashion, lifestyle, Muskan Rawat, does really aesthetic, beautiful looking content. So probably her.
Lovely. If
Yeah.
we haven't already checked them out, we will. Now let's talk about the top 5 paid influencers, the influencers that are making the biggest chunk of money in the sector.
I think the Ranveer, TRS, they would be, especially in the infotainment category,
Yeah,
Ranveer
yeah.
would be one. Think School would be another. Who else do you think is making a lot of money? A lot of creators, Prajakta, Kusha Kapila, all these
Yeah.
A-listers are 100% making a lot of money.
Fair. So Anushri, we learned a lot about influencer marketing, about influencers, about brands today from you. So guys, this was it from me and Anushri. Please like, share and subscribe to learn from entrepreneurs for free.